an OPS over 1,000 over a month-long span and showing you some of the most professional and like locked in plate appearances that we have seen from anybody on the team. It's really difficult not to just be thoroughly impressed with Matt Shaw.
One of the questions you and I had about Matt Shaw was, is he going to strike out too much? Because his contact rate in AAA was 74%. Now, what does that mean? Well, the major league average is 77%. So I'm thinking, oh my God, he's going to get called up to the big leagues. He's going to be striking out 30% of the time. He's going to be whiffing more than what we saw from like Javi Baez. It's been the complete opposite. When he got called up, he was making too much contact, 80+% contact, chasing that outside the zone and making contact poorly. He was making too much contact. He gets demoted to Iowa. He only strikes out like 2 times in 50 plate appearances. So he was sacrificing power for contact. You saw the different batting mechanics. You saw different batting stance changes. He had a close stance. His hands were lower. His hands were higher. Now his stance is more open. Now he's more upright. Now he's looking like a little bit like Javi Baez with his batting stance time and time and time again. And what that has led to is conviction with his swing. And you may remember, I look at blips. I said, the contact thing with Shaw is interesting because it shows me he has the capacity to make contact when he wants to make contact. That's a unique skill. Not everyone can do that. What happens if he figures it out? Well, he's figured it out. He's making 81% contact. That's among the highest on the team. And now you're seeing the power come. And we've been hearing for weeks, but the bat speed doesn't have good bat speed. His bat speed's trending up. So you look at the bat speed. This is kind of a proxy for like conviction. Is he seeing the ball well? And is he giving his A swing? What you'll see early on in April on an every 5-swing basis, he's hanging out in the blue zone. His swings are around an average of 65 to 67 miles per hour. That's among the lowest in the league. That gap right there, AAA, comes back up in June. Swing speed starts to go up, a little bit up. The results don't quite hit. July hits right before the All-Star break, goes back down. Is getting beat once again. All-Star break passes, comes back up. All of a sudden, those dots, those swings, no more blue zone. He's convicted. He's seeing pitches. That bat speed's going up. You're seeing more dots in those red zones, but you're seeing no dots in the blue zone right there. That means he is feeling like he's seeing the ball really well. And that gives me confidence. And it reminds me, as we start following more prospects going forward, looking at Casey, looking at Ballesteros, even PCA, look at those blips. Those blips are telling of what they're trying to accomplish. And you can just broad stroke it. You don't have to get into the fine minutia because quite frankly, we're not coaches. I don't know what the hell is going on batting mechanic wise, right? But it's about the capacity to reach his potential. When I see crazy outlier trends like the contact rate plus visually looking at his swing athleticism, I think, okay, well, there's a world in which he can perform, and it's happening now and faster than I expected.
Well, and the one thing, look, the performance, you can look at, I read off those OPS numbers. You can see the homers that he's hitting. Like some of these results certainly speak for themselves. But I don't think there's a better example of how just impressive his development has been. It's that plate appearance last night against Mizorowski.
That 11 pitch plate appearance, right? Is that what it was?
Was it 10 or 11? I thought
Whatever
it was
10.
It is. But you're giving him an extra one. I don't know.
Sure. Maybe it was 12.
Firstly, starting with the call to bunt, right? Which we don't have to get into. I didn't like it at the time. I think if you've listened to Brendan and I long enough, I don't think we're ever calling for anybody to be bunting unless it's John Lester in the 16th inning or whatever it is.
Or Jason Hayward.
Right. But like to come back from giving away a couple of strikes, right, and see 10 pitches against a guy pumping 100 miles an hour and end up taking a walk, getting on base, and you saw how fired up he was. But what an impressive plate appearance against such a tough pitcher in a huge spot, big series. And it just speaks to the whole thing and kind of where we started this conversation. Things like that, the defensive plays, and just these developments for a 23-year-old who rocketed through the system, who starts with the team, gets sent down, comes back, performs poorly. Everybody's talking about trading for your replacement, like to
including
get to the point.
Including us.
Yeah. When you get to the point that he's putting up an OPS over 1,000 over a month-long span, and showing
Absurd.
you some of the most professional and like locked in plate appearances that we have seen from anybody on the team. It's really difficult not to just be thoroughly impressed with Matt Shaw. And like I said, 2025, huge development. The Cubs didn't trade for a third baseman. They made that, gamble. They needed that to work, right? Or they were going to have to start throwing Willie Castro there every day, or putting 40-year-old Justin Turner over there. I don't know. So obviously it's a huge development for this team right now, especially because over the last few weeks, he's been your best hitter